what is the difference? If my feelings is what makes it sexual harassment, how I feel about it, right? Can not everything be sexual harassment just because you feel it to be? Is there an objective test to say, okay, this genuinely is sexual harassment? Or just by me existing, it's sexual harassment?
Hey guys, this is Anesu, aka Nyati Shonga.
Hello, my name is Chido, aka Chizzy. Wagwan, Advocate Amanda here. Hi everyone, this is Kuda, aka Cooks. Hi, and welcome to As Told by Us, the podcast. This is a weekly podcast where 4 professional millennials discuss living in Zimbabwe and trying to figure life out.
Someone once told us the grass is much greener on the other side.
But from where we're standing, our grass is green. Subscribe, like, share, comment down below.
Welcome back to another episode of As Told by Us. Woo!
Oh shit, we were supposed to respond to you.
Don't you always know? So our last episode, the one that aired last week, was all about sexual harassment. And we just like to continue that conversation. We had quite a few responses on our social media. Shout out to Instagram. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, we do a lot of polls and we try to get your input on the episode we would have aired. So going back to previously on, As Told by Us, we'd gone through sexual harassment, the definition of it, and we shared our stories on our personal experiences. So I just wanted to start the episode by having a short exercise. So it's a put a finger down exercise. You have your 10 fingers up and you put a finger down.
Oh, I'm excited.
If this has ever happened to you. All right. So these are sexual harassment examples. So put a finger down if you've ever experienced touching on non-sexual body parts. So this could be an unwanted massage, unwanted hand-holding, unwanted light grazing touches. So like a bump and this, oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Okay, the next one, put a finger down if you've ever experienced someone pressing you for sexual activity, including sexual touching or non-sexual body parts. Ooh, that's creepy. Okay,
Wait,
so anyway, sexual touching of non-sexual body parts.
Like my
groping.
hand, so your back. It needs touching.
Yes, this one needs touching.
All right, as a finger counter, we have all 2 fingers down in the room. Anesu, you can't see your fingers.
I've got 1 finger down.
1 finger down.
Mm-hmm. Put a finger down if anyone has called you sexual names.
Yeah.
Like, give examples, man.
Oof.
Hey, sexy.
This would be an example like what you experienced, Chido, when that guy was like, ooh, your body yaddy, baby.
Oh,
in the streets.
okay.
Yeah.
Damn. I'm down to 7 fingers.
All right.
I've got 8 now.
8 fingers, 7 fingers by Kuda, 7 fingers by me, 7 fingers by 6.
Put a finger down. Ooh, this one I think everyone, maybe 6 hasn't experienced. Sexual street harassment, catcalling, whistling, any of those. Yeah.
Wait, where was I?
You've never been catcalled.
No one's been like, hey, handsome.
Hey, Zaddy. I think he liked it. I don't think he thought it was sexual harassment. I think it was kind of like that. It can be boys too. Oh, that finger went down quickly. All right, so we're all 6.
I'm on 7 now. Cornering, standing too close, someone blocking the doorway so you don't get through, just obstructing your daily life, basically.
Cornering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is weird. I think we can discuss it. It says obscene t-shirts, hats, and pins.
Obscene t-shirt.
Yeah, like if someone's wearing like
A t-shirt with
t-shirt with pornographic content, that's apparently sexual harassment.
Yeah, that's like niggas in their t-shirts.
Huh?
You know, like niggas have like booby pictures. I mean, shirts that like have either like cartoons, but like the cartoons have like big boobs.
Huh?
Have you not seen that?
No.
Oh my god, where do
I've
you
seen
live?
where it's like an
Ooh,
apron
have you been hanging out?
of a naked person that's like over the apron.
Yeah, I've
No, I
seen
mean I've
that.
seen all kinds. You know what's that mama on
Where you
The
been?
Simpsons? What's her name?
Mama.
Gosh.
On a t-shirt.
Yeah, in like
do that
just
to
full on
Marge.
boobies. Yellow as she is, just or one of the Smurfs. You know the lady that actually wears
now.
the-
Ew.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you.
Oh, childhood.
Have you not seen? Guys, niggas have weird
that
t-shirts.
Dress, there's a dress that's got like a body.
Like a silhouette.
I've seen those as well.
Does that count?
Do you just want to put your finger down?
Do you feel harassed? Do you feel harassed when you see someone wearing that? Because apparently,
Or
it's
are you
sexual
also like,
harassment.
But I also have a t-shirt that says I like it when you call me Big Daddy. Does that count?
I feel harassed.
But it's on me. It's different if Six was wearing it. Because it's on me as a woman. Although, you know, it's different, I think. Anyway, I've seen it, so I'm left with 4 fingers.
I don't know. I'm on 5.
I'm on 5.
Okay, unwanted discussions on sexual topics.
All the time.
Ish, me too.
Yeah.
Ish. Learn to read the room. Yo. Obscene language or jokes.
Yeah.
Unwanted sexual texts or emails.
To go.
What's already
It's messed
I
up.
have one left.
Oh my god.
I have one finger left.
Emails.
Spreading.
Text or emails.
Yeah, text or emails.
Wait, I need to think.
But like,
Have you ever received a text that you just was unwarranted? From a rando?
no.
Yes.
You have.
Yes.
Those Indian men.
Did you hear me say to go? Did you hear me say mix it? Did you hear me say
Oh, mix it. Yeah, okay.
There you go, thank you.
Exposing someone to pornographic material.
Exposing. Okay, but here's a question. If I expose myself on social media,
Like on X.
like no. But you see, like if you go on X, right now if you go on X, there's just a lot of boobies.
Like on X, like there's some people who
Full on porn.
like there's some people I follow, right? It's just like, oh no, I know you.
Yeah.
And then next thing,
Posting.
they've re-quote tweeted some
Yeah,
pornographic
right now.
video, and it's like,
Or Drake's picture. We all went to look for it. Does that count because you found it yourself?
no, it doesn't count then. If I
It doesn't, right?
looking for
Okay.
it.
You went looking.
It
No,
got
I
sent.
didn't.
What if it got sent to you in a group chat?
That's inappropriate.
But like you
Opens group chat.
Drake. Okay. Please read that one again, one more time.
Exposing someone to pornographic material.
But like also, back to mix it and to go. If somebody just sends you a ding-a-ling-a-ling picture, surely that counts.
That's harassment.
Wonderful.
I honestly feel harassed.
I'm out
when I
of fingers.
see-
Good. I'm out of fingers. But I can keep going.
Okay, I've got.
Started-
You're going to go 15 now. Oh
Let
my
me
God.
do 2 more.
Okay.
Stalking.
Wait, who's got fingers left? I've got one
got-
finger.
I have one.
She's got 3 fingers.
Stalking.
Chido's got 1. 6. MMV has 1.
I have no fingers.
So should I keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. I've got stalking. I've got spreading sexual rumors. I've experienced that.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Sexual rumors, like what? Like,
Like, oh, I smashed.
Oh, yeah. I'm out of fingers, but you too. Ew.
And any sexual gestures.
Any. That's all the fingers we put down, guys.
All the fingers are gone.
What about stuff you've done?
As in?
Have you ever stalked? Have you
Making
ever made
unwanted sexual
inappropriate?
gestures at people?
Oh, so the question is, have I sexually harassed somebody else?
Yes.
You know, because now you know. Now you know that wearing something like this is offensive to other people. Are you going to continue to harass the masses?
Yes, don't look at my t-shirt.
So
Don't wear it.
what would be the difference between a pornographic t-shirt and like say wearing a see-through top with your nipples out?
Ooh. You see, I'm the kind of person who might do that. Like, I would wear a t-shirt. Like, is that...
Yeah.
You
like,
wear a t-shirt
or like
with your
under
nipples
boob,
out?
or just basically revealing
I would do it, I
clothing. Sexually provocative clothing.
But you see, I think that there's now, because as part of the Free the Nipple gang, right?
Yeah.
A lot of us walk around without bras on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying I would...
So,
because, like,
would it be see-through? No. But can you at least see an imprint of my breast?
Your nipple.
Probably.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Because if you're saying
that
if a
offensive
guy
to
puts on a
people?
t-shirt with Marge's boobs, that's a pornographic t-shirt. So if I can see your boobs, then aren't you harassing me?
Harassing me.
So, but my question is it offensive?
Yeah, so
Are your
I
boobs
mean like any
are my boobs
sexually
are my boobs offensive?
any sexually provocative clothes.
I think it goes back to the previous episode when we were speaking about how it affects the person.
What affects the person?
Yeah. So if MMV is walking, gallivanting the streets of Harare, and then he sees boobs on boobs on boobs, and he feels offended, he's been harassed.
But like, say, I'll give an example of ladies of the night. They deliberately dress in a certain way that, like, if you're passing by,
You're gonna be
even
enticed.
innocently, not even just enticed, but you're a bit shocked. Like, I mean, if you're driving in avenues at night with a kid or something, sometimes you're gonna see something that you would have rather not seen.
I genuinely feel like the ladies in the avenues do harass people, though.
Yeah.
It's now, again, it goes to the guy. Is he trying to pay for some services, or does he feel harassed?
Yeah.
Because I've had an experience like that. We were in a car and our windows were all tinted. And it was just me, my sister and my mom. And we were coming from the hospital. It was nighttime.
Yeah.
And this lady was wearing like a coat, just caught in jail.
Oh my God.
And she really approached the car and she like flashed us. And we were like, oh Lord. My mom turned down the window. She said, come with There's kids in this car. So I feel like it is harassment. If you're not trying to be solicited, then it borders on the why are you doing this to me?
Question. What is the difference? If my feelings is what makes it sexual harassment, how I feel about it, right? Can not everything be sexual harassment just because you feel it to be? Is there like an objective test to say, okay, this genuinely is sexual harassment? Or just by me existing, it's sexual harassment?
I think it's like that Twitter or X meme where it's like harassment versus I forget what the other thing is.
I like it.
So basically, it depends on the context of the situation. I think. Like certain situations, especially when you start talking about those ladies of the night, there's a time when I had a breakdown at a certain shopping center, right? And there's like a bar there.
A car breakdown,
Yeah, car
emotion.
breakdown.
Oh,
I thought emotional.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately, I was like,
The car breakdown. So I'm busy trying to fix the car, and then these ladies are just there, and
What was
saying
wrong
all
with
sorts of
your
things.
car?
The ball joint had like, yeah.
I wanted to make sure it was a real breakdown.
It was a breakdown. But yeah, and most of my instances of like, I guess, sexual or harassment and stuff, it's like literally it's like people just like forcing themselves. And I'm like, yo, can you chill? Can you chill? Especially like I remember one instance was like at a house party, and we're all having fun, and you know people have invited their people, and it's just like, you know, a mix. Then all of a sudden, some young lady starts, you know, she's the by case, like the whole, it's like, yeah. And it became very, very uncomfortable. Because she really kept on trying to go like, yo, let's go to my room, let's do that. I'm like, hey. But yeah, wow. It was uncomfortable.
So I guess Kuda's question is, in the event that you were interested in that young lady, does it cease to be harassment?
Then it's seduction.
Because I'm also just thinking, coming back to the feminist chat that we had before, many weeks ago, right? My body, my rules. If I want to walk around braless, right? And this is more comfortable for me to go wherever I'm going. I just feel more comfortable than a bra. And now I step out my house and now it's, oh, you've harassed MMV. But it's like, my boobs, why is he looking? You know, so how do you, where's the line?
You've reminded me of, I think there's been at least 3 occasions in Harare where I'm just like, you know, innocently, you know, going about my day, then boom, there's a man peeing. And it's just like whips out his thing, and it's not even like discreet, it's just like, whoa, I just
see 3 times.
You want to see 3 times? Well, I can think of 3 times off the top of my head, but that, right, he can say, I'm just relieving myself, it's none of your business. But I think that's definitely harassment, because you're just exposing yourself in public.
Yeah.
Boobs, I think, are a bit political, because I don't know.
Everyone has them.
Everyone has them. So it shouldn't be a thing, but it's kind of a thing. Because, like, say, breastfeeding. You know,
No,
some people find it offensive or think it's offensive for a woman to breastfeed in public.
But the baby needs to eat.
It's a contextual thing, basically.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think context matters. I think it's wrong to say how, I don't think it's wrong, okay? But I think it's too subjective to say, because I feel it's harassment, it's harassment. I think there needs to be a context to it.
Boy parts are just objectively harassment. No, serious.
No, on a real, it's offensive a bit.
I hear you.
Like, not even a bit, a lot.
Inherently.
No, I'm not gonna lie. The time I was on my way to town, then some bro just decides to like take a slash, you know, by the side of the road, you know, just take a pee. I'm like, this is disgusting, bro. Like, it's just, even for me as a dude, like, I'm not trying to see that.
Keep it in your pants.
See, here's my thing. I just think it's dirty. It's like the next thing, you don't wipe, you don't do anything, you put it back, and then you want to shake my hand.
Yeah, exactly.
You just touched the junk, you want to shake my hand.
We're digressing here, but is it like, have you drip dried?
Did you do? Like, also, where's the sanitizer? Where, like, now you want to share a plate with me. I don't know where you've been. You know, like, it's just dirty. It's
but
nasty.
Also, you're peeing in the street. Yeah. It's just like so disrespectful because
ew.
Isn't it illegal though? It's public indecency.
It should be.
Yeah, it should be. But you know, if you get caught, what are they going to do? Fine you?
This is Zim.
Okay, so the next part I really wanted us to talk about is where it's not, I think we've been going, oh, this is a gray area, this is not such a gray area, all of that jazz. But in the workplace, I feel like we definitely need to discuss that part.
And now, a word from our sponsors. This episode is sponsored by I Am Not Just a Woman Network. They're inviting you to the Passion People Purpose Conference from the 18th to the 23rd of August 2024 in the vibrant city of Bangkok, Thailand. Unlock your full potential with our comprehensive conference packages. Full conference package for only $647 and half conference package for $497.
Secure your spot now with a $200 deposit by April 30th and pay the balance over 3 months. The best part is that they will even assist with visa processing and offer flight payment plan packages.
So don't miss this opportunity to network, learn, and grow with like-minded women from around the globe. Reserve your place today. We've added the link to the event in the description box below.
We've got a new labor act in place, the amended act, and it actually specifies sexual harassment in the workplace as a crime, which is new. Let me just read. Labor Act, Section 8, Labor Act provides that it is an unfair labor practice by an employer or any other person by act or omission if he or she engages in unwelcomed, sexually determined behavior towards any employee, whether verbal or otherwise, such as making physical contact or advances, sexually colored remarks, or displaying pornographic materials in the workplace. And apparently the penalty is up to 10 years imprisonment.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what about those accidental nudes in the work WhatsApp group?
Which one are those?
You guys have never experienced that?
No.
Where someone sends something they shouldn't have in a WhatsApp group that's a bit semi-professional.
Oh my goodness.
Accidental.
I can say that I don't put a finger down for that. It's accidental, then there's also on purpose.
Okay.
I remember once there were nudes of, was it a magistrate or something like that? But it was basically scandalous nudes. And then someone will send them into the group. And then the admin will delete and then people start asking.
I saw those. Okay, but
You
those
see.
were in the CPT group.
But you see, that's what I mean.
Oh my gosh, in the CPT group?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you raise an interesting question because you know how like on X there's always some kind of drama. Oh, the spa girl, she did this, and so like say for example in your work group, somebody says, to meet a video, yeah, spa, and then somebody throws that video into the work group.
Yeah. Something like that.
I think then context again. If I don't ask for it, then it's definitely harassment. But if somebody's asking, send it, then you look for it. You want it.
Yeah, but why are you sending it to a work group?
Or they should have been to the person who asked.
Yeah, like DM.
Not
the
like
per-
in the group.
DM
Because
the
not
perv.
everybody wants to see that.
DM the perv. Yeah, it should then if I'm asking for it by myself, then send it to me. Unless the entire group is asking, then just send it one
But
time.
should you even be sending that to colleagues? Is my question.
It depends on your relationship with your colleagues, I think.
You see,
Because I feel like they're, so I can tell you for us, we have different WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
Right? There's the official one for official notices.
And then there's one for chats.
And then there's
shits and
then there's one for chats, and then there's one for like bow, like where are we going? You know, like if you want to hang out, right? Those are different. So obviously, I'm not going to send that in the official group with everybody in it, but like it might be okay if you sent it to the bow group.
Okay,
Just because everybody's
I
carried
get that.
similar.
I get that because it's something. There's something similar like where I work as well, where it's like the
Professional group.
yeah, and then there's the shits and giggles kind of.
but you see, I think that's a bit complicated. And I think if we look deeper into the work dynamics, for me, I work with mostly men, right? And then obviously the shits and gigs or the more casual conversations or groups or whatever always take on a certain nature. So I think it's a bit tricky because you guys are suggesting that there's a certain group where anything goes. But I think it's also a bit complicated because for me, right, I may not be all the way comfortable with it. But you know that at work, if you're not in that group that actually affects your work life.
Right.
Because it creates a culture, there becomes a culture where there's a drinking culture or just like a, sort of boys club type of, we talk this way about, sexual things that are happening and this and that. And that becomes the bands and that becomes the culture. So you're in a position where it's like, okay, either you're going to be left out of it, which means you're also left out of important work relationships, or you have to just sort of also go with it and sort of tolerate a certain way of speaking, because that's just how people speak to each other at work.
I think because it's a work environment, there obviously needs to be like boundaries. They are unspoken, but they should exist. In the sense that like we're only gonna go this far. We're not gonna cross the line.
But do people really understand where the line is and when they've crossed it?
Yeah, I suppose that's the challenge now.
I think that's why they're trying to say just don't do it.
Just don't.
Because there's no way, if Amanda is by herself as a woman and everyone she works with is a man, there's no way she can like try and say, oh guys, please stop texting like this. This is harassment.
You see what I mean?
It's a bit like,
I'll just be kicked out. I won't be in the fan group.
And then
But then at least you won't get the work. Exactly.
Yeah.
So then what do you
I think
do?
that's what they're trying to deter, because at what point is it, it's a joke and stop taking things personally.
Right. And by virtue of being in the group, you're basically signing up for that. And so
content.
For that context, for the content. So then they're saying, but you're here. So get out if you don't want to be here. And then you say, but I also want to be here. I also don't want to be here.
Also, work is work. Work is work, and your friends are your friends. I feel like there should always be that line. I get it, like, oh, we want to have fun and go out and all of that. But hey, guys, those are your workmates. I feel like seeing nudes and whatever shouldn't be in a context where you're spending 8 hours with that person from Monday to Friday. Like, where are your boundaries, bro?
No, it's a tricky one though, because I also feel like even in Amanda's situation, but in general, that also the power dynamics are also very potent, right? So because you are a junior advocate, you are the female advocate, you're most likely looking to the older males for either work or for help, right? So already in that sense, there's already a disjointed power dynamic, because, essentially you need them, they don't need you vibe, right? And at work, in any circumstance, you have male bosses, those are your bosses. I have male bosses, those are my bosses. If they say something inappropriate, the question is, if I say something, I might get fired. So how about I just say nothing and just take it? And laugh and go, ha, 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 that's cute, that's funny, right? For me to now say, hey, what you said was inappropriate, I'm going to HR or whatever, that might definitely cost you your job. And then what are you going to say? And then in your next job interview, they ask you why you left. You said, because I complained about my male boss sexually harassing me. And then you're being interviewed by a man who's going to say, we don't want her
problems.
There. She's going to give us issues.
And I feel like generally there's a tendency for people to be reluctant to enforce the kind of penalties that Anessa was talking about. Because once you start talking about 10 years in prison for sexual harassment, everybody will be like, but no, is it that serious? Because remember, we're talking about probably people who are really powerful who are running the business. So the likelihood of you getting that conviction at the end of the day is very low. But the moment you speak up, the likelihood of you now being targeted or things just getting worse is like 100%. So I think it's...
And also doesn't start at jail, right?
Yeah.
It starts with first go tell HR, HR tells the bosses, then there's a disciplinary hearing, then there's all of these things before we even get to 10 years of imprisonment, right? So you might go to HR. HR might take it seriously, might not take it seriously, might just be like, that's what dudes are. That's what they do, laugh it off. Or they will take it seriously, escalate it to a male boss who will hear the disciplinary hearing and who will say, wasn't that serious? It wasn't that bad. Like, just say sorry, it'll be fine, and just don't be in each other's spaces. You guys will be fine.
Just move on.
Just move, right? So even before you can even enforce those things. There's still a process within the workplace, and now you've already shifted the dynamic of the work group and how people work together. Nobody wants to work with you anymore because at any minute, sexual harassment claims.
You see, you've just reminded me of a time where I sat on a panel for a disciplinary hearing on a sexual harassment allegation. This woman admitting that her and her male co-worker had some form of a relationship before. Then they had an incident where I think he took it too far, or maybe they weren't together anymore. Then he tried something on her, and then she reported it. And I remember, because we tried the whole case, got everybody's evidence, and then this is now the panel, the decision makers. And they all ran with the fact that these guys had a previous relationship to sort of trivialize the whole thing, while acknowledging that what he had done was wrong. They were just like, but you see, I think someone even said, with lovers' quarrels, you can never really have the full picture. And they then were very lenient in then what happened in the end, because it was more like, you guys sort out your things because you guys are basically together or have had some form of relationship. And long story short, I don't think there was any significant change or improvement in the situation. Maybe just a warning for the guy, and then they have to figure out stuff themselves.
But how do you work like that? How do you go to work on Monday?
Why are you negotiating with your abuser? Yes, okay. Yeah, you harassed me.
But
please don't do it again.
You see.
Sure. These things are tricky. I mean, I do think, is it a good policy? Maybe. I just think enforcement is difficult.
So that's then, because of that new section, lots of companies have now also issued sexual harassment policies. And they're saying, okay, guys, this is what you do when something like this happens and all of that. But from what I'm getting, I think we're a long way away from having people who are actually sensitive to those issues.
Hey there, lovely listeners. So listen, running a podcast in Zimbabwe is quite the journey. It requires resources, and when we say resources, we mean money, time, and effort. Wondering how you can support us? Well, we've got you covered with Inbox, or Waldromit if you're on the other side of the world. We'll be posting our Inbox details on our social media platforms. Whether it's the cost of a cup of coffee or a virtual high five, every little bit of your support counts. Remember, supporting our podcast isn't about funding our caffeine addiction, though it is in part, but your support keeps our podcast alive and thriving and helps us create more content, ensuring that our laughter echoes through your devices. Thanks for being part of our community and for listening.
So here's a question. In a work type situation, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but I experienced this everywhere I've worked, where people like to find relationships like, do my guru wangu, do my nini, or this is my tete. Like they find something to make us like, this is my sister because baba can do, And then there are times where somebody's like, this is my work husband, this is my work wife, this is, these two are always together, right? In a circumstance like that, right, where now you've allowed somebody to call you work wife, whatever, right? Could have been in jest in the beginning, and then somehow along the line they took it too seriously, right? And then they tried to act on the relationship that you allowed in the first place. Then you have a situation, like Amma said, where this person does violate you. And then it goes to hearing, and then HR says, but I thought that was, don't you say that was your work husband, work wife? You guys were always buddy, I think in a lot of circumstances, people allow, especially HR and them, allow these things to happen because they, again, your relation, you didn't set boundaries in your relationship because you're trying to relate, right? And find some relationship that was never there, right? If somebody used to call you Sekuru, or not us, but somebody you call Sekuru at work. Oh, Sekuru this, Sekuru that, Sekuru that, right? And now people look at it and say, oh, these people have a relationship going on. You know, they're friendly, they're cordial. Then they harass you, then they violate you. And now you're going to HR and they'll say, but we've seen you and them relate. And we just thought that's what you guys do, right? So I guess the point is, I feel a lot of the times we don't set clear boundaries as to how people can relate to us because we're trying to get along. I don't know if that makes sense. We're just trying to be amicable and go with the flow, and then we blur certain lines because of it. Does that make sense?
Blurred lines. It does. And I think it's a bit sad because there's too much emphasis on the victim and the circumstances having had to set the tone, and not enough attribution to somebody then crossing the line and violating someone. Because even with a real wife and husband, we're not yet at the point where we acknowledge things like marital rape or that you can be harassed by someone you're in a relationship with, because that's still something that's possible. But then now we've gotten into a space where it's like, once you accept a relationship with somebody, it's now you guys' baby, that's your story. So it's a bit complicated.
At least I think in professional, or at least in the, what can I say, like different from the creative space, like maybe at your workplaces, there's at least some sort of like a structure. I feel like in creative circles, like it's only when it gets like really bad, that's when like people actually go take the legal route, you know, and stuff. I had a very uncomfortable situation, like it happened very recently, and like I was like, nah, this ain't it. It actually happened like literally like this past Friday, where a member of the LGBTQ community, a guy, was coming on to me, and it was very uncomfortable.
How do you know that they were coming on to you? I just want to...
Yeah.
Because sometimes I just want to...
Yeah, so they came through and they were like, yo, oh, have you been working out? What? And then they proceeded to just want to touch me. Then they were like, because I was wearing a cap, they took my cap. They're like, yo, come get it from me. I was like... I was like, what is going on right now? You know, and it really felt, first of all, it was just like, you know, kind of like shocking and kind of embarrassing in a way, because I'm like, what are you doing? Like right now, what are we doing? You know, like, I don't understand what's going on. It was very performative. I didn't like how it felt, the way it just played out, you know. And it's someone who we've had like interactions before, they're cool, but then they were like really like going at it. On Friday, I was like, yo, this is crazy. So I kept on thinking to myself, like, yo, this is like legit harassment. Like, I feel harassed. Like, I'm uncomfortable. Like, I'm almost in a state where I'm like, yo, I ain't trying to see this person again, you know? Because it was just like, yo.
So this person was your client?
Not even a client. It was like a social gathering.
Oh, okay. But like you've known each other outside of that social...
Well, not really, actually. It's like more like an acquaintance, you know, like people we just kind of bump into a lot, hi, bye, type thing. But then, like, the energy came through. It's like, yo, you've been working out. And I was like,
you're my associate.
So it was hectic. It was hectic. In that moment, I was like, damn. I kind of thought back to the episode we recorded, the part 1. And I'm like, yo, this is like the story that y'all were talking about. Like, I felt it, like the full length. I was like, this is terrible. Yeah.
So do you or did you feel like you have any recourse? Like if you maybe try to push back with them directly, or even just like anyone other than now to like just speak to about it, or even people who are around?
I feel like in this particular situation, if I like speak up, I think it would definitely just have to be like me actually just on a one-to-one with him, going like, "Hey, bro, like I don't feel comfortable with this," you know, because I think if I try and in that specific community, it's easy for it to be construed as me being like homophobic or something like that, you know. When it's just like literally just like, "Hey, bro,
Just like, no.
I just don't want it." You know? So yeah, I think it's nuanced.
I want to ask Six, from just a male perspective, right? Do you, as a man, feel like you can talk about things like sexual harassment with your mates? Say, for example, like just this example that you've told us, would you be able to like say it to your friends without feeling embarrassed that it happened to you? And also, like, do you feel like if you were to report a sexual harassment incident that you would be taken seriously?
I think it also depends on which set of friends I'm talking to, because there's like some friends who like you kind of know like this type of information, they'll just laugh it off and just be like, "Yo," you know. So I think besides you guys, I've only like told like my brother, right, like my younger brother, so, "Yo, like this happened," and you know, it's just kind of venting, and because we're brothers, it's easy to just go like, "Hey, okay, that was wrong, that was offside, blah, blah." But in general, like I just feel like if I speak up, I'm just gonna be the bad guy. And it's just gonna be like, "Oh no, he's blowing it out of proportion." And the thing is, there were witnesses, because it's like it's almost like I was in the middle of a conversation with other people. Then this individual just came through and just started like acting out, you know. But then because of the whole homophobia thing, and you know, they were just gonna be like, "No, this dude is probably," you know. So it's hectic, to be honest. Yeah.
I mean, that's a good question, though, I feel. I was thinking about myself, and I was thinking all the times that I've put my finger down for, I don't think even I took it seriously enough to do anything about or to report, because it's kind of like, to who? Do I really want to go to ZRP and say, "I've been essayed"? You know what I mean? Like, what are they? They'll probably essay me right back, you know? So, like, what's the point? But I just think that's the problem with it, right? Because if you've been assaulted, raped, whatever, it's kind of, the easier thing is to just not tell anyone at all, to just not report it, because honestly, like, either one, you kind of feel like, what's the point? I'm going to go to the police. They'll make me open a docket.
And it feels like the burden is on you.
It's me, exactly. I have to prove that it actually happened. Oh, how did he say it? Oh, what were you wearing? Oh, where were you? Oh, that was your boyfriend, though. Oh, no, you know. So then, like, so what's the point? Why am I doing it, right? But it's one of those things that really you carry, you know, and like it might manifest itself in like really negative ways in your own life, either with relationships with other people or whatever. You just end up acting out or acting in a weird way just because you are carrying that burden. But who do you tell? Who can you trust? Who will actually do something about it? And a lot of the times these stories always come out 10 years later, 12 years later, whatever, in jest. You know, like Me Too, a lot of people were going back to 1960, whatever. Oh, he did that to me 40 years ago. He did that to me, you know. Yeah. So I don't know. It's so weird because you can't. I don't think we have enough protections in this country, but in general, I think anyway, for you to be taken seriously like that. I think I've only witnessed maybe 2 occasions where the police took it. Not even in Zim police do nothing, but 2 occasions where somebody said I was essayed and they took it seriously.
For me, the one that really bothers me, especially in Zim, is students and lecturers. I feel in a lot of our local universities, it's almost normalized. It's so prevalent that people know that there's certain lecturers where, if they take a liking to somebody, whatever, people have to do things for marks or whatever, or just creating an uncomfortable environment because of that. And I think it's quite dangerous because it's always about that power dynamic. And once you have someone in that kind of a position and they're using it for things like that, what I think the worst part is it's usually not just one person, but it's more of a culture that is then perpetuated in a certain environment, to the extent that you know that the same people who you should be reporting to are friends with this person or are probably doing the same thing. And then it just creates a very toxic culture that is hard to beat.
You've just reminded me of a lecturer we had.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, him.
And like I just had like flashbacks of just things that he used to say in jest.
Yeah.
But then it when you think about it now, it's like this was harassment, and like because we were students. And he's in a position of power. There's no way we can be like, my guy, you've crossed the line. I remember there was a time he came into the lecture room, switched off the lights, and was like, I like it in the dark or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was like, and I remember it so well because in my head I was like, this is inappropriate. But then I think people just laughed it off because he's the lecturer, right? Like.
And who's got to go switch on the light now?
But what's interesting about that lecturer, I'll say because he was outed on TV. I think a bit like some months later at another uni, I think it was NMMU, then he was outed. And I think it took probably one or a few brave students who were just like, no, enough is enough. But then if we think about what he had started doing and from when and how far it probably got, because he gets more bold and bold as time goes on.
Bold and boldest.
I think, like what Koda was saying, that it's so disheartening to get help and why should I even bother? I think we really need to try and speak out when things happen. Because when he was at Rhodes, he wasn't doing the madness that he then did after us.
Are you sure?
We don't even know. Because
That's
we only know what he did to us and we don't know what he
But because you guys took it,
I think
it was normal behavior.
Yeah, so if someone had been quick to say, this man is not normal, I'm reporting you, probably some people would not have been subjected to what they were subjected to.
I just remember, sorry to cut you off, sorry. Were you done?
No, but you can continue.
No. Sorry. That particular lecture, I just remember now, because I was a tutor, right? And then there were like some second years who came to me and said, please, can you escort us into this guy's office so we speak to him because, like we're a bit uncomfortable. We need somebody a bit more senior who can come in. And so it just came to my mind again when you said, Kuti, it wasn't so bad at Rhodes, but I think it was already
at some point.
It was at a level already where kids were feeling uncomfortable going to him. Yeah.
So my point is just, I feel like it's important to sort of break that silence. Because when we're too quiet and we're just like, I'm in my own corner, thank God he then left after 5 minutes of bothering me. And it's not me anymore. You help someone to continue. Because before he came to Rhodes, he had also been kicked out of another university, which means he had already started. And that's why he was kicked out.
Rhodes take it?
Exactly, because people are not speaking out.
There'll be no report.
There's no official report.
Tangible
But he just leaves because, oh shit, it's getting hot.
Okay.
Let me just.
He only kicked out left.
Yeah. And I remember he used to we'd be out at the Rat or whatever, and he'd come and join our table.
He used to run away from him.
And we'd run away, but he'd follow. And then you're like, how are you in the club? I remember asking him like, dog, it's 10 p.m. You have a wife.
Go home.
Why are you still out with students? And then he's like, no, my wife understands. And I was just like, yeah, she cool. My wife is cool.
Yeah, I hate people like that.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, we could talk about this for days. Could talk about it for days.
So episode takeaway is break silence.
Yeah, I think it's just...
I think even if it's not just about a report, I think generally there's a lot of ignorance, especially in Zim, where I think certain conversations like this need to be had for someone to even think about things that they've done. Like, you know how I asked after the 10 fingers to say, what about stuff that you're actually doing to people? I think at least normalizing certain things, that's when you find people then now coming out to say, but actually that experience was sexual harassment. Because I think sometimes it's even just putting the name to it. You go through something like what Six was talking about, and then you feel it's an uncomfortable experience, but you don't give yourself the permission to say, I've been assaulted or I've been harassed. So I think even just having that language and these conversations is the first step.
Okay. Yeah. Any other takeaways?
I think you should just hold people accountable. Even the people you're supposed to be reporting to, if they're not taking it seriously, hold them accountable too. I think it sucks that it's you who has to treat you the victim and now you're also the person who's holding people accountable. But I think if people laugh you away, you need to stand on 10 toes and say, no, this was wrong. Take it further.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Thank you for tuning in to part 2. We'll just have more polls and the like. If you want to share your story, you can even use in the anonymous link if you want to discuss this further. We're open. As you can see, we want to discuss it. I think it's very important. Like I said in part 1, it's important to have the language. It's important to know what's going on with you, what's going on with others, so that you can also support them. And yeah, that's the end of the episode. Bye.
Bye.